Okay, so this is Supernaut by Black Sabbath. You got to detune every string a step and a half. So you end up having to take the E down to C sharp, you take the A down to F sharp, you take the D down to B, you take the G down to E, you take the B down to G sharp, and you take the other E down to C sharp. So our first riff is, so quick hammer, 5 to 7 on the A string. We hit the 7 again and then pull off to the 5. And you can either pull off to the open 2 or kind of pick that open. A lot of times I'll just pull it off to the open 2. So at the end of that we got 5, 7, 7. So that whole thing is. And then we're gonna have another quick one. And then kind of a staccato hit on that 7. So that was another 7, 5 open, and then we hold this 5 right here. So it's. And then at the end of that one, we hit an A before we get going again. So this one starts like the first one did, but it goes. And you're gonna have that 5 to 7 on the D, and you're gonna hold that a little bit into the new measure, and then you're gonna go. So you're gonna have a double pull off here again, 7, 5, 0. And then a quick one, 5 to 7, another 7, another pull off. So this second half of this A part is like. Okay, so you gotta wait till like the second beat of that second measure to get in there. And then we're back to the beginning. So the whole thing would be 3, 4. Starts over. Okay, then there's a harmony for that. I'm calling that part B, and that's gonna go. Okay, so you're 9 to 11 on the A string. And it's the same types of rhythms, so hammer, and you got 11, and then 11 pull off to the 9 to 7. 9, 11, 11, and then got the quick one and the staccato one. So you're gonna slide them down to the 7, go back to the 9, and then you got a little pickup note on this open A here. So. So it does the same type of thing. It starts out the same. Goes to the higher string, 9, 11, holds that, and you wait for that second beat, and you got. So you're going down 9 to 11 to 7 on the D, and then 9, 7 to 9 on the A. So I'm going to do part A, and then I'm going to go to part B. So that's what happens in the song. It's like part A plays, and then part A plays again, but as part A plays its second time, part B comes in harmony over top of that. Okay, so here we go. Okay, then we have part C, which is the pre-verse and the verses. So it's gonna have this part of an E7 chord. You got 7, 6, 7. You're gonna go, you're gonna slide that down. Then we're gonna go big E, O to 9, slide into the 9, to the open, and then to the 10 in the open. So it's. That's a D chord. You're gonna pull out those 2s into opens and bring them back. Okay, so you have 4 of those to set up the verse, and then we'll do the verse. Let's try that a little bit more. 2, 3, and. Okay, so that's how that verse goes, the pre-verse and the verse. You got 4 times of that C part, and then we're back to. And each time the band like stops playing, and it's just like some hi-hats on the drums to get the riff started again. So it's. Okay, and then we'd be back to another C part 2 times to set up a verse. We got. Verse. Okay, and you see, it wouldn't sound that heavy and dirty and dark like that if it wasn't detuned. So the detuning can be a little bit of a pain to get you there. It's a lot of tuning each string over and over again to get your guitar used to sitting in that tuning. But once you get there, that's like the cool, some of the secret sauce of Black Sabbath. So then we go back to the main riff. We got. Then the harmony would come in. But the guitar solo also starts right there at the same time. I'm not going to break down the whole solo, but I will tell you this. There's a lot of trills in this solo, so it'd be good practice to get ready to try to learn the solo. If you practice stuff like that, 12 and 15, 12 and 15, 12 and 14, all the way down this pentatonic minor for E. So we're going to go. And then I'd practice going up. And sometimes just see how long you can get that going. It takes some finger strength to keep that going, you know. And it's good practice for getting your hammers and pull-offs to be effective because you want to keep those notes going without dropping out. You got to hit it in the sweet spot or you might lose it. That'll wear you out after a little while. Okay, so one other thing he does that's really cool is. So he'll use that flat fifth from the blues scale with the flat fifth, and he'll go pull off on that 15 to 12, and then do 3 on the 14. So that's another good one to practice right there. And then he does his, typical kind of, that kind of E minor pentatonic kind of jamming. So you could just kind of do some trills and kind of just jam out to try to, get closer to getting ready to do that solo eventually. We're back to the riff. Harmony. And then you have a 7 on this A string, and you got a big drum section. And then we're going to come back in with the C part. We got. Okay, so we do that 4 times, and then the last verse happens. So let's do 4 more times of part C. 3, 4. And then you'll have your riff again. And it just repeats that with part A and part B going over the top of each other, and it goes out like 5 times and it fades out. So that was Supernaut by Black Sabbath. Once again, think about your trill practice. Get some strength going in that. because you're definitely going to need to be able to do that to look at this solo eventually. All right, Tony Iommi, Black Sabbath, Supernaut, Frank Zappa's favorite Black Sabbath song I heard. So anyway, y'all take it easy. Thanks a lot.